Hello and welcome back to our McLaren F1 Manager series. Back with another live stream as we are heading into practice in Spa. So haven't done practice yet. We are arriving at the first practice session. Let's just check where we're at. We want all our worn parts on as we jump into this practice session. We've got the guys set up. We'll jump straight into it, shall we? As we always do, let's get Oscar out first. Goodbye, Lando. And we are at the beloved Spa today. What a track. Let's hope our boys can get a good result once we get to the race. Did do some car comparison before we came into the weekend, and to my surprise, the car is still performing well against the pack. We're still in the low, medium and high speed cornering, where cornering is king on this game. We're still doing pretty well, around about the 5th to 6th fastest car. So I think points certainly still available for Lando across the next few races. I believe it is the summer break after this race weekend, so we might see our competitors gain a slight advantage once we come back from that summer break, because there'll be little to no design from us. There might be one design that completes. As we say, everything we are doing is going into research.
Yeah, locked up. It helps when you stay on the track there.
As Oscar has gone and had a lockup in this first practice session.
Now this is what happened as they took turn 8.
With Lando literally on his gearbox, no need for that really.
And the car fails to respond.
And Oscar
Just
under pressure
unable
there,
to control
locks it
the
up
car by...
and does Lando a favour.
I lost drive or something.
Lando, calm yourself down. You haven't lost drive. You're fine.
Okay, Lando, needs some feedback.
We said in the debrief that
Okay, understood.
you'll be using warm parts. So let's get Lando in. And Oscar.
How's the balance?
Balance is bad for Oscar, so let's have a look at these guys. We start to tinker, so okay, we're bad. What's the straights? Okay. That was great. Okay, let's... That was great, that was bad. Let's go with that. So we hit optimal on traction there. Go with that as well. I think we might be a surprise there. We might get a good little setup after these next runs. Let's wait and see. That rear wing definitely looks to be in the window after this. As we send the boys back out. Halfway through this first practice session in Spa. Let's see what this next bit of feedback brings. Hopefully we can get them closer to a pretty good setup. As we head down under in real life. First practice sessions are complete in Australia. We briefly have a yellow flag here. No replay though, so nothing significant there. And the big news is Williams have done Logan dirty, and though Alex Albon's crashed his car and ruined the chassis and they've not got a spare one, Instead of Alex sitting out, they are going to give Alex Logan's car, and Logan will miss out. Which, as much as I don't rate Logan, and I think Alex is the better driver, at the end of the day, it was Alex that crashed out, ruined his car.
How's the
and
balance?
I think that's very harsh.
Just fine, I'm happy.
Slightly out of order on Logan to then have him miss the Grand Prix. Although, effectively, the rest of the race weekend, because he's not going to take part in any of it. Okay, so we've got a lot closer with that. Can we bring that angle? We can bring that angle in. That's great. That's good. We tinker here. Can't go too well that way. We could do that. That's still going to stay good though. Wonder if we can do something around that. Let's try something like that. Oh, 83%. Not bad. So we are, I think if we drop that rear wing one there. Great. Good. Great. Good. Do something like... that's not changed too much on that front though, has it? Something like that maybe for Oscar. We should get them both briefly out at the end of this session. Lando is ready to go, and Oscar. Right, here we are, minute left, so we're only going to get a couple of bits of feedback here, unfortunately, but good work, I think, really, in this first practice session.
That is the checkered flag.
Let's forward this on.
Something seems wrong.
I'll let you know.
Nothing's wrong, so you don't you worry, boy. Right, we've got quite a few of the cars taking penalties, so taking new parts. So this could really be an opportunity for us to capitalise this weekend. So we should be ahead of all of these guys. The Alpines was a little bit close there. They're not taking penalties, but Hamilton is, Logan is. That won't really affect us, but the two Aston Martins are. So it's possibly going to give us a good chance for good points with Lando. You know, 6th, 7th should be on the cards potentially, depending what our pace is like around Spa, but that is quite interesting. Are we at a sprint weekend? I feel I've gone and done it again. Because we are at a sprint.
To get going.
Oh, how did I not see that? Completely forgot because I jumped through prepping the car before coming on live stream. Usually I will check the weekend schedule and I've completely forgot to check that in my hurry to get on. Therefore, I've gone and done our setups pretty dirty there. This will now be in Parc Ferme. So this has gone slightly wrong. But we do love a challenge. No point having it too easy, is there? I think we'll use our ERS for Qualy. So we have, before we're coming into this, we have purchased a new ERS. If we do put that on, we will take a penalty, I believe. Or is it just the engine will take penalty on? Alright, engine. Getting a bit wary. Right. Ah, set up then. I do feel that would be closer though, but we're not going to get... Yeah, that's fine. It's got ERS and the ERS. Right, let's go into Q1.
Okay, Oscar. So the track will go green now.
Let's just have a look at this. Right, let's get both cars out on track then. Let's get our first laps underway in Q1.
Delta negative at the end of the lap.
If you could keep your pace up on the in lap.
He's got a massive margin on us there, isn't he?
Drive to the Delta.
And we're box this lap.
There's only 2 tenths between Norris and
Yeah,
Piastri, so I don't think they were held up there. Although I don't know, we're 6 tenths off Ocon, which doesn't sit right. Let's just wait and see these other laps come in. It would be alarming if we are 6 tenths off. No, Sargent's gone quicker. I don't think they're great laps there from the boys. Get some fresh softs on, ready to go. I'll give ourselves a pretty good margin to get out here. And Norris underway on his second flying lap then. Let's hopefully get some green sectors. At the moment we're looking alright, but there's cars behind us we expect to go quicker. Hamilton, Alonso, Albon. It's not a faster first sector for Lando, which is a concern. What can Oscar do? He looks like he's got a pretty clear track at the moment. And he has gone green the first sector. Remember, there's only a couple of attempts in this, so Oscar's got a chance to out-qualify Norris, albeit in this first Q1 session. Hopefully we can get both of them through. Record flag's now going to fall, so we'll see how many are finished. Just Bottas below us, so under pressure, really. Lando does go green in that second sector, though. Hulkenberg has now finished, not gone quicker than Norris, has gone quicker than Piastri. So Norris, I think, would be relatively safe with Zhou, De Vries and Tsunoda still to go. Can Oscar go green in middle sector? Should be coming up shortly. No, yellow. And there's a yellow flag. I don't know what sector that is in. There's De Vries running wise. Lando comes across the line. Doesn't go quicker. Under pressure then here. What about Piastri? Does he go quicker? No. So we're waiting for Tsunoda, De Vries and Magnussen to finish their laps. Slightly worrying, really, our pace here. I don't know on the yellow flag there if we had to let off a bit. So, no, it looks like he's on a in-lap. So, I think we are through, judging by that. By the skin of our teeth. We are indeed. So, we do make it through to Q2, but the pace did not look great there for us. So, Logan Sargent, as we say, has got a penalty, so in a way, it's quite good for us that he's made it through to... Let's just see what the gap was. So Lando done a 142.4, 2 tenths off Sargent, 2 tenths off Gazzy, but 6 tenths off Ocon, that was a concern, and actually 7 tenths off Albon. Maybe Williams got better pace around here, we'll have to see, unless that was just poor runs from us. So we are running at damaged ERS, so we're going to use the new one from the next race onwards. So estimated cut-off time is a 1:41.8. 1:41.8. 1:41.8. Let's see what we can do. Then we'll go on scrubs on this first round in Q2.
Track should be green.
So we get them both out synchronized for once. Let's see what we do here. A lot of traffic. So this may be difficult again. 42.3, I think we're looking for a 41.8, weren't we? So yeah, quite a bit off it at the moment. Well, let's just wait and see what we can do.
So Oscar, you're P8. Happy with that?
So let's
Okay,
get
look
these
after the fuel on the way in.
back in. We'll get some fresh softs on the go for both of our drivers. Yeah, it's definitely a track with traffic issues, as you can see from Q1 and now where some of the guys are in Q2. So, got to get a bit of luck, really. We're going to try and go out as late as possible. Still trying to make the line, of course. Got a yellow flag. Albon spun. The final corner, has that ruined his final run then? Potentially, if that was a hot lap. Even not, it's going to ruin whichever lap, even if it's going on through his hot lap. Are we going to make it with these guys? Definitely going to make it with Piastri here, because he's already gone, and yeah, Lando's crossed the line as well, so we're absolutely fine. Williams gets out of the way. I don't know if we're held up. Another car out of the way there. Let's just see what Norris has got. He's got some traffic as well. Might be on a hot lap though. That Mercedes. I think it's Lewis ahead of us. He looks to be on a hot lap then, so maybe if we can keep pace with Lewis. Oscar's not gone faster in that first sector. Lando has. So Oscar, we're going to need to see some green sectors. If not, we will be out in Q2.
That's the checkered flag.
Hulkenberg has finished. Albon's got a hell of a lap up there, hasn't he? Only 4 tenths off pole. Although it's not pole in Q2, but the fastest time in Q2 is 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths, but good run as we look for these second sectors, and it's not going well for Oscar, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it looks like Oscar will be out in Q2. Unless those sector times have been very marginal by a few hundreds or thousands, and he's going to gain a couple of tenths. Lando as well, not going faster in that middle sector. We're under a lot of pressure here. Might be both cars out in Q2. Oscar is across the line, hasn't gone quicker. Lando is out as it stands, unless he goes quicker here. And I don't think he has. He has not. worrying for us around here. Doesn't look like the track is suiting our car at all. Of course, we haven't nailed those setups, which is a big issue. So yeah, maybe this second practice session will help before we head into that sprint race. But we are out in Q2. Lando currently 11th. Let's just see if Ocon is on a flying lap. He's jumped us, so...
Okay, that's P14.
Going to be 12th for Norris, 14th for Piastri. We are going to jump up quite a bit because some grid penalties. So, confirmation then, Lando 12th and Oscar Piastri 14th. Just not looking like we've got the pace there. It might be the setup. We haven't nailed setups as yet, so hopefully we can rectify that in practice 2 before going into the sprint. And as I say, there are going to be a few grid penalties, so we may well start higher up on the grid. So let's see what happened in Q3. And Charles Leclerc takes pole by Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez. Then we've got Hamilton who's taking a penalty. Then Sainz, Alonso taking a penalty. So Albon will be up to a net 5th on the grid. Great result for Williams. Russell 8th, Stroll 9th, and Ocon is 10th. And then we've got Norris in 12th, but he'll go up again because of these guys, and Piastri in 14th. So let's head on to practice 2. And we've got some rain. Looks like we've got rain for this session. I think we'll put the 2% gearbox on. That's pushing it a bit. We've got a 0% on Lando's that we really did literally run to the ground. Obviously with the CRS we may be losing a little bit of performance, so that might not have helped us in Qualy, but that's the risk we take. We've already bought a new ERS, but I really want to try and make them last to the end of the season rather than waste another 5 million and further grid penalties and all the rest of it. So car setup, we've got 84% for Lando, 95% for Oscar. The setup's not too, it was brilliant pretty much for Oscar after just having that first practice session. Lando, we've only got front wing angle. We've not got too much to play with, but we can try put a different bit of front wing angle on that and just see what happens. I think we'll just run long because we can always revert. Same with Oscar, there's no need really. He's got a good percentage. We just get that track acclimatization up, try and help these guys because they're struggling a little bit around here.
Okay, so that's a green light.
Let's get them out and let's get practice 2 underway. DRS enabled. I think that's slightly delayed. It is a very wet on track. Only 4 cars out on track for the first 5 minutes.
Something seems wrong.
Yeah, we know we've got issues there with the ERS. So yeah, problems with the parts, but that's because we're running these warm parts across our practice sessions. So Lando will have some feedback because we've changed the front wing angle. That's all we can do because unfortunately the car's going to park firmly after practice 1 on the sprint weekend in the game. So kind of stuck with where we're at. Lando has got, which I didn't mention, Lando is running a new suspension, I believe it was. Is it side pods or new suspension? We were only able to manufacture 1, Lando being the lead car. We went with Lando.
It helps when you stay on the track there.
As Oscar's had another moment, this time in practice 2 running wide.
Now we're just proceeding through turn 4. Oh, and they need to be watching those track limits. Well, hopefully not a...
There we go, a little running wide from Oscar. Squeaky bum moment for Oscar, I think, there. It's in the wet, damp conditions. And Eau Rouge is not the place, really, to have a moment like that, but unfortunately it wasn't... Unfortunately, God, that sounds bad for Oscar. I wanted him to crash. No, I don't. I certainly don't want that. Fortunately is the word we're looking for. Unfortunately, that is, yeah, not ended in a big incident for Oscar there. Let's forward this on. So that may have gone in Lando's, against Lando actually, because the new car part, so we didn't have full car part knowledge going into that qualifying session.
How's the balance?
I'm happy.
Also
Understood.
didn't have great track acclimatization or a great setup. So might see him eke a little bit more pace out now we're starting to bring this up. As I say, we're running long in this session to try and get as much track acclimatization as we can. But that should be...
How's the track conditions?
Should rain again in a moment, so I don't think we need to bring them in for slicks. Yeah, it should be the case for the whole grid though, so yeah, I just don't know if we've got the pace around this track really. Alonso and Sainz have gone on to some slicks. Quite a few of them have gone on to some slicks. We'll stay out on these because it does look like the rain is going to hit again. So 25 minutes to go in this second practice session. And then we will be heading into the sprint. As we're back to damp conditions. Track acclimatization is going up quite nicely now. We're at 60%. So we should hopefully be able to get into the 80s, I think, by the time we finish this session, which would be a good result after just 2 practice sessions. Lando's not going to get to 100%, it doesn't look like, on the car parts knowledge, though. And it'll be interesting to see, we'll have a look in a moment, what that front wing angle adjustment has done to his setup satisfaction as well.
It stopped raining in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's
Copy.
fine. It does look like it is now going to go to dries. So we are going to have a quick change of tyres for both of these. This does interrupt our run, which is unfortunate. Okay, so that has beat us previous. I think we're at 84% were we previously, so it has gone up a little bit. Let's get them both back out for the last 10 minutes. We may not get that 80% track acclimatization now because we've brought them in and sent them back out again, which normally the longer you're on track, the quicker it goes up. Let's see. 74%. Yeah, looks like we're going to be around 76, 77% maybe on the track acclimatization. Two minutes to go then in this second practice session. Oscar does hit 76% now, so does Lando. And that is end of session. So all in all, after that first practice session and completely forgetting we were in a sprint weekend, I think we've not done too badly to get the setups where they are. As we have a look now, so we did get track acclimatization to 77%. Car parts knowledge for Oscar is 100% because he's not using any new parts. Lando's got a new part, so 88%. Setup satisfaction, very happy with 95% for Oscar. We did get it up to 88% for Lando, which is still pretty good. Pretty happy with that on a sprint. So overall, that gives a driver prep of 91% for Oscar and 85% for Lando. So is a little bit of an advantage for Oscar coming into this sprint and full race. And just confirmation then of those driver preps, as we say, 91% for Oscar and 85% for Lando. So we'll jump into this sprint race tonight as well. We've got light rain, which is saying at around about lap 4, isn't it? Lap 3 to 4. I think we definitely want to be on softs. We definitely want them on the softs. Full beans on the engine. ERS isn't going to be great, unfortunately, but it is what it is, unfortunately, with these parts. We'll decide after the summer break what we're going to do, whether we just run these in the ground and we take the poor performance that will come with it. Really depends on our budget and how our research is coming on as well. Let's go full, both on softs. Doesn't really matter what we put them on there, but we'll just do that. So Lando still says, so are those, I guess those penalties are not going to be applied until the race then. So it depends where the guys finish who've got those penalties. They'll be applied for the full race, not the sprint, because we're still starting in 12th and 14th. So I assume Logan Sargent and all the rest are still going to start the sprint above us. But we're going to run on the softs because there should be rain early on from lap 3 to 4. Softs should do, well, they say 32, but they wouldn't do 32 laps around Spa the way we push our tyres, that's for sure. But they certainly should do enough of the laps that we need them to do. So let's jump into this Belgian sprint race.
15 long and challenging laps await the drive. Here we are.
Here we go then. Lando starting in 12th. Oscar in 14th. We haven't shown great pace. Let's see what we can do in race trim.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
Lando straight down the inside of Logan Sargent here. It's a nice start. As Piastri looks like he's got Hulkenberg, but Hulkenberg's going to come back for him through the Rouge, but Piastri is just going to give that one up there. And Sargent did the same to Lando, unfortunately. Alonso and Sainz on the hard tyres. Now that is very interesting. These could go backwards very quickly. They're 2 compounds harder. It's going to be interesting once we settle down into this race to see what happens there. Just forward this on. We're just monitoring the gaps. Just want it to settle down a bit. The AI do go hell for leather at the start. Gasly all over the back of us. Norris is going to have a go at Sargent here. We do need to get this done because Ocon has nearly got a second on us here. Logan coming back at us here, but we have got DRS on Ocon. So we're all right for a moment. Just want to push that, don't we? Just want to get a second out in front of Logan, really. We're close to doing teetering on that second. We have got it now. Gives Piastri some deployment here because he's very hot onto Nico Hulkenberg here.
A bit of rain.
As it now starts to rain.
Use the overtake button.
Yeah, copy.
Can we get Hulkenberg here? Going through our Rouge. Now we've got the DRS. He's got DRS though, unfortunately, on Sargent, so it's a bit of a DRS train. And therefore, it's going to be a difficult move to get done. Now, is there going to be enough rain at the end of this lap? I don't think there is. I think it's worth staying out. So Sainz, yeah, he's 1.5 seconds off Hamilton. Alonso's 3 seconds back to Verstappen on those hard tyres. This is really hurting Lewis. So Norris just settling in there behind Ocon. So let's just forward this on a bit now as we get to the end of this lap. I don't think anyone will pit at the end of this one. The rain continues to fall. I think we will need to pit at the end of this one. Pretty good to about 0.75, 0.8, I believe. So it might even be worth another lap. Piastri still with Hülkenberg's DRS and Gasly hot on us. Hülkenberg has dropped out of Sargent's DRS, but Sargent's back in our DRS and we've not stuck with Ocon here. Sargent's all over us here. Lando struggling perhaps. Do we pit with Lando? He's struggling. I feel it's early, but he's struggling so much.
Box this lap.
Yeah, confirm.
It might be worth
So
it.
we're boxing
It's a
for an
bit
inter.
early. But Lando was struggling there, so I think it just makes sense to take a risk there. Good stop for the boys as well.
Clear at exit.
We will box Piastri at the end of this one.
Box now. Copy, box.
Hi Dino, how's it going? You alright? I was a bit late myself, was planning to start at 7, got underway at 10 past, so yeah, we've ran through practice 1, quali, practice 2, and we're now finishing off with this sprint. And I did look at the pit stop training in actual fact, so, and I was looking at the total tab, so I have now sorted that out, although there wasn't much I could do before this race, but no, that's much better looking at the kilometer tab. So just keep an eye on this. Bear with me. Yeah, the cumulative, hold on, we've got a yellow flag.
Currently yellow flags.
So Bottas has
Now we
spun.
should be able to take a look here. Let's have a look as we go into the 13th corner. And that's it. That's the spin.
Big spin for Bottas. But yeah, I have transitioned to the cumulative tab, and yeah, that does help a bunch.
Oscar pit lane.
Right, Oscar's
Okay,
now
copy.
in. Where does Lando come out on all of this now? Did he lose? Did he gain any time? So Ocon stayed out. So we were fighting with Ocon. So who still got to pit? So no, 1, 2, 3. Might have worked out for Norris. Would have got a bit of heat in these tyres now as well. Yeah, I mean, I was, to be fair, adding in some couple of rests, and I was monitoring sort of not to overwork them, but I think as I had it on that total tab, I didn't even see the other tab actually, but because I had it on that total tab, it just didn't look like anything is making a difference. So yeah, that makes the world of difference, so you can monitor it each day and coming into the race weekend. As I say, there wasn't too much I could do here because it was only 3 days before this Grand Prix, but we got them down from exhausted. They're coming in a bit wary, and it says that they'll probably be exhausted again by the time we get to Sunday, but Now I'm on top of that, I can sort that out going forward, which would be good. So let's see where Lando filters out now after everyone else comes into the pit, surely. So it'll be mainly interesting to see where Ocon is and if we've gained quite a bit of pace on him. Gasly's looking pretty quick. We have certainly not got the pace around this track. Struggled all through Qualy. They will have a little bit of a shortcut on this first corner. Stroll has a pit stop issue. I think Ocon's going to do us here.
The Aston Martin team standing by. Oh, but it's slow. That's so unfortunate for the team.
Slow rear left. Stroll. Oh, yeah, Ocon, plenty of margin. Gasly looks like he's going to make a move on us here. Has indeed, as Magnussen as well making a move on Piastri, so certainly struggling around here. I don't know if it's just the track or coming into it. It didn't look like this would be a track that would be sort of a disadvantage to a car. It looked like the car would go quite well around here, so it wasn't obvious to see that we'd struggle around here. So yeah, it's either a track that we're just struggling at, or this is the first sign of our car development that we slowed down probably a good 3, 4, 5 races ago, and maybe we're starting to see that come into effect here, because this raw pace all weekend, we've not had it. Alpine certainly been quicker. We know obviously Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull and Aston Martins are quicker than us. Normally fighting the Alpines, but Alpines and the Williams have had pace on us all weekend. So yeah, this might be signs of things to come for the rest of this season, which would be a little bit dull for us not to be able to fight for points, but unfortunately that is the risk we're taking, because we want to yeah, get a better car for 2024. Just have a look now at these intervals. So yeah, there's not much. Don't think there was scheduled to be any dry weather. I think it's, yeah, Inters all the way now. Yeah, just struggling for pure pace, really.
Oscar, you can reduce the Lyco slightly.
Yep, copy.
Key thing is to keep the tyre in good shape. Keep the tyre in good shape.
Copy.
Now, we do know quite a few cars are going to take penalties for new parts. Sargent, the 2 Astons, Hamilton. We may bump up a little bit in the race, but as I say, the indications are we just haven't got the pace. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm debating. If the pace has dropped off and we're not going to develop the car, this doesn't seem worthy of trying to buy new parts, additional parts in terms of engine, gearbox and what have you, and take the grid pens. We may just run them into the ground and see what happens. And say he's not going to make the greatest races or content probably for the rest of the season, but I think it'll be worthwhile for the car it gives us in 2024. Because we're pretty, you know, the season objective is 7th. We're pretty comfortable to achieve that. I think Williams, I think we've got 33 points. Alpines are in and around us, but we're, as I say, below that. I think Williams have got 2, Haas 1, Alfa Romeo 0, Alfa Tauri 0. So it's unlikely we're going to lose out on our season objective. So I think that's pretty secure. With what will be, 10 races to go after this one. So yeah, my mindset is probably not to purchase additional parts and take grid penalties and probably just run them into the ground and see where we get to, unfortunately. And obviously here the ERS might be hurting us a little bit, but we're still, in terms of the gearbox and engine, got good gearbox and engine in for this race, so it's just no pace there, unfortunately.
Time to push on these tyres.
Yeah, all good.
More lift and coast.
Copy.
Let's forward it on, see if we've got any pace now. We start to push again. Doesn't look like it significantly.
How's the track?
It's completely dry.
It's dry,
I'm
but
ready,
it's
it's risky, but I'm ready.
not going to remain dry. You're not ready for nothing, Lando. Calm yourself down, boy. Yeah, even the Hassers, Piastri's not got the pace even on the Hassers, really. Try a bit of deployment.
Okay, use to deploy.
Copy.
I mean, we'll do it with both. We've got similar pace. They're not
overtake is
extending, and we're not gaining. So if we can push some ERS, maybe get ahead, we might be able to keep the positions. So let's just go for a bit of pushing with Oscar and see what we can do here. 4 laps to go. Piastri's definitely got potential. Go to the 2 Hassers maybe here. This DRS is open, which is frustrating actually right now. Wouldn't be if K-Mag didn't have it on his teammate. But he is going to get it as well after we go through a Rouge. He's going to get it. So it's going to be difficult now to get this. Whoa! Jesus! That was very close. Hulkenberg put it into the wall, came back on the track, and Oscar was nearly collected there. I literally moved out of my chair. This is why I was in the cockpit there. I just see him sliding back onto it. Oh.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
Well, he's kept it going. That is very lucky, and that is very handy for us.
Look at the team there. They all knew what that moment meant.
So Hulkenberg's dropped it. That gives Piastri now a clean run at K-Mag. Now we do want the DRS to remain. We want it to remain just until we get K-Mag. Oh, as we say that, Oscar, massive lock-up.
Yeah, locked up.
Here's the replay.
Tyres were very hot on
Let's
a
have a look
push.
here as we go into turn 8. That's... Oh, no, that's not quite what they...
Well, that is a typical Oscar
Yellows
for you,
ahead,
unfortunately.
Yellow flags.
Copy. It helps when you stay on the track there.
So Hulkenberg's back ahead of us after that few
Okay, keep
mad
looking after the
couple of
tyre.
corners. Has Hulkenberg got damage here? And he hit that wall quite hard on the left side, didn't he? Is the end plate slightly damaged there? Yes, I think so. The Piastri should have pace on him. Norris has not really gained too much on Logan. Brake cooling needs to be improved, that's for sure. Not great on the current cars.
Yeah, confirm.
But again, we're limited in terms of that now. I think it's a combination really of the brake cooling on the car, but also Piastri. I'm gonna curse him. He's now gonna do it, but we very rarely see it from Lando. I don't know if we've even seen it from Lando all year, even when we run the tyres quite hot. Let's forward this on then, see if we can make any more inroads. So Lando is close to Sargent and Gasly now. Logan Sargent, who's not going to be racing this weekend, which, although I don't particularly rate Logan, as I said, I don't agree with that decision. You know, if you've been off and smashed your car up, I don't think you should be able to take your teammate's car. That is, yeah, I don't know what kind of message that sends to Logan Sargent either. Lando's very close here. DRS is still enabled. Sargent has not got it on Gasly. So we should have a good opportunity here. Right up the gearbox here. We should have a good chance here with the DRS opening up. Good pace in that Williams though, straight line speed. Lando dips it down the inside. Logan's going to try and hold it out, but he won't have inside for this next corner. And Norris gets it done. So Norris does make a position up to 12th. And DRS closes as we get the overtake done, so that's handy for us. We've got another yellow flag. No replay, so nothing significant it doesn't look like. Piastri is closing to Hulkenberg.
Recharge on.
Yeah, I believe it does, yeah. I think Oscar's not too bad on some of that stuff, though. I have to remind myself having a look. I know, I'd say the major thing with him is his smoothness is just shocking.
Overtake is available.
Last lap then, let's go for a deploy. I don't think we're going to get close enough to do anything with Pierre Gasly, though. But in the end, Lando not finishing too far off the Alpines. Piastri doesn't look like he's going to have enough to get Hulkenberg either.
Use overtake.
But yeah, we've perhaps found a little bit more pace than we thought here, because I think another few laps we're... Well, no, this isn't the full race, so no points on offer for 10th in the sprint, but fine for some points there. Sargent's going to take a penalty. I believe the two Astons and Hamilton are. If they're 10th place penalties, then that would put Norris starting in 9th. So, yeah, we might still have a chance for points as we head into the race, which we will live stream on Tuesday. Piastri very close to Hulkenberg here as we're about to finish this race. Max Verstappen has won it from Charles Leclerc.
Over the finish line
Perez is going to come home in
win the
3rd,
sprint.
Sainz 4th and Hamilton 5th, rounding up that top 5. We come through to the final corners with Lando. Closes in on the Alpines, so it would have been close for another couple of laps, although we'd completely depleted our battery there. Lando is going to come away in 12th. And Piastri getting very close to Hulkenberg, but too difficult to make a move down here.
That is the checkered flag.
Gonna have a
so
go.
we are
No,
on
he's
track.
not. So Piastri is going to come home in 16th. And that is the sprint race over.
A bad day for Lando Norris, who was unable
Yeah, well,
to
it has
secure
been a pretty
any
bad
points in
day. Been a
today's
pretty bad
sprint.
weekend, to be fair. But closing stages there was a little bit more promising. So as we say, from the sprint results, from the 8 positions giving you points, Max wins it from Charles Leclerc. Perez in 3rd, Sainz in 4th, Hamilton 5th, Alonso 6th, Russell 7th, and Stroll getting the last point in 8th. Albon finishes 9th, Williams showing good pace round here, Ocon 10th. And then one of our poorer results since the start of the season, really, with Lando 12th and Oscar Piastri in 16th. The Williams allowance only touch was on here. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's no getting away from that. You know, you give them, if you've got one car, let's just say you take the accident out of it, you know, you turn up somewhere, you've got one car and you can pick from Logan or Albon to go in the car to try and get your points. You're going to pick Albon 10 times out of 10. Every team is picking Albon 10 times out of 10. So understand why they've done it from that point of view. But I just think, as you say, ethically, that's just... I can't see that happening in any other team. Unless you go to extreme, you know, unless you're like Max and Lewis at the end of the season in 21 where you're fighting and for whatever reason Max smashes his car in practice, you know, you're not going to say, well, no, you can't run the race. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, if you go through that grid now, where else would that happen? I just can't see it happening anywhere else. Probably the only one I would be surprised where it wouldn't happen is Red Bull. Because, you know, it's just Max is so clear number one there. Yeah, I just actually like Williams, and I'm a big fan of Albon, actually, as one of the drivers on the grid. But, yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me. I mean, Sargent did have a few issues in practice as well, so maybe they're looking at that as well. But I think that's an incredibly odd scenario, you know. One driver has smashed his car to pieces in the wall, and he's going to take his teammate's seat who's not smashed his car up. Effectively is what it's boiling down to. I mean, the biggest error obviously for them is that they've not bought spare chassis, or they didn't have enough time probably to the start of the season, I think, because I believe Williams were later on their development, so they've probably had to rush through development just to get 2 chassis to the first race weekends, and then you've only got a fortnight, you're across the other side of the world, so it's all very difficult. But that's where the biggest errors come, because they wouldn't have had to make the decision. But yeah, I just think for team balance, would Alex Albon, after he had that crash and they said, sorry Alex, look, we haven't got another chassis, he'd be disappointed. But would Alex have been thinking, well, you'll just put me in Logan's car? I don't think he would have even thought that. So it's definitely come from like James Vowles or from the team. Yeah, it just strikes me as odd, because that team balance now is just like, if I was Logan Sargent, that would just, you know, he's not running on a lot of confidence as it is, we can tell, I think. And now that's surely got to be shot to bits, because it's just like, he's the fool guy, basically. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Red Bull. Yeah, I think Red Bull definitely, when I was thinking of that and the whole setup with Perez and Max, and yeah, they would definitely do it. I don't think it even matters what scenario it was in. We saw it, didn't it? What year was that? Was that... Yeah, what year we're in now? Was that last? Was it 2 seasons ago? When obviously, I feel like it was in Brazil, when Perez was just after a little bit of help, wasn't he, from Max to obtain 2nd in the championship, and Max just, yeah, not interested. And you know, it wasn't really like there was a lot of pressure coming through from Red Bull, like sometimes when you see, you know, team principals then come on, like Christian Horner or Toto at Mercedes, and sort it out. It was just kind of like, oh, it's fine. But yeah, Red Bull would do it. Even if Max had won the championship with about 7 races to go and Perez could get 2nd place, they'd still do it. But yeah, I think apart from that, you can't see it anywhere else in the grid, could you? Because Ferrari, not going to happen. Mercedes, not going to happen. Aston Martin, I would say not going to happen. Although they could dress that up if, you know, Stroll and his dad asked him nicely to give Fernando his car, so potentially. Alpine is definitely not happening between their sort of past relationship, although they seem to be patching that up a little bit, but that's definitely not happening. McLaren, they wouldn't do it. Haas, no need to do it there either. AlphaTauri, no need. Alfa Romeo, no need. So yeah, it's an odd one. I think up and down the grid you wouldn't see it, but I think Williams just know that they're in that sort of collective group, aren't they, where, you know, every point is significant for them, from finishing perhaps 10th in the constructors up to 7th maybe for them max, 6th this year, 6th, 7th. I think they're obviously looking at the pace of the car. They're thinking there's a good chance of points. But unfortunately, on Logan's pace, he probably wouldn't get points. Or, you know, there's 50%, 70% better chance if we put Albon in that car gets points, and that's what they would have said to Logan, I'm sure, at the end of the day. They would have put it in the right way to him, that, look, you know, for the team, it's going to significantly help the team in the long run. If we finish where we finish, this point could be significant, gives us more money, allows us to do this, although they're pretty good for money now. But yeah, as I say, I'm not actually a fan of Logan. I think he's one of the, although he's only had a year, so I think you shouldn't always judge drivers on 1 year. They do need a couple of years, but I think he is one of the lesser skilled drivers on the grid. Yeah, whether I like him or not, I do feel bad for him in this situation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can understand the decision, and as you say, you don't need to like it. As I can understand it, it makes, when you just strip it down, it makes complete sense why they've done it, because what they're thinking about, he gives them a better chance of getting points. But as you say, when you look at it ethically, the impact on an individual, then it's just like, oh, it sucks. But there we go. We are running on here, but that's absolutely fine. That's what we're all about. We love some F1 chat. Well, that is going to bring us to the end this evening, so what have we got? We'll just have a look at these strategies before we go. So it's about 3 temps in the soft to the medium. Well, it looks like it's going to be a clear race, so we're going to have good weather for Sunday's race. We will do Sunday's race on Tuesday's stream, so it's been a pretty good stream though, to be fair. We've got through most of the weekend, got through practice 1, full quali session, practice 2, and that sprint race. As I say, difficult weekend for us so far, just not having the pace in the car. But hopefully this is a one-off and we can still extend some of our point scoring for the next few races. As I say, a few of these are going to have grid penalties, so if these are significant, we may be starting a lot higher up. But we will wait and see. This is how the sprint ended. So, as I say, if they're taking 10-place grid penalties, we will jump up 3 and start in 9th with Lando. So, still a chance of points when we get to the race. But let's see what we can do when we get there. And, as I say, we will be back Tuesday. We've got the highlights of Hungary. That is all done and dusted. I've got that ready to go, so I will upload that tomorrow. And then we'll come back on Tuesday to stream the Belgian Grand Prix. We'll get those highlights out by the end of the week, and then Friday we will be back on to the next one. So we're heading through to, I wouldn't say the closing stage of the season, because we're now moving into the second half. But yeah, we're getting there. So the second half of the season, as I say, might be a little bit more duller, because we're going to start to run parts, start to use those older parts, not going to be developing the car. So we'll see what we can do, but we're safe on that seasonal objective. And then, yeah, we'll see how the races go, but if they're duller, they'll probably be quicker races. We might be able to get a couple in each session, and then we'll head in on to 2024, and hopefully we'll have a good base car when we get into that season. Thanks for the chat, Dina, as always. Appreciate it. I will be back on Tuesday. Enjoy the Formula 1 at the weekend. If you're getting up early for it, enjoy it. Ferrari look like they got a bit of pace, so it might be a little bit more competitive this weekend. As I say, that will do for this evening, and we shall be back on Tuesday, and I shall see you